have a look at the camera.
Sister, not too soon with that in.
An opportunist. He'll take anything that's going. For fuzzball, he chooses to return to my club and take the pieces of food that I have on offer. He doesn't, however, have to return to the club. He returns simply because he chooses to. Because the food that I provide on the glove is easier to catch than anything he might find out in the wild. Yo! You can see Fuzzball showing you there the second method that he can use for hunting in the wild. Apart from sitting on a perch, watching and waiting, he's also quite capable of circling over one particular area, waiting for something to show itself. When hunting an opportunity...
And then I should have it on the coconut shrine. You can have one of my balls, have a go. Win something then. Well, like, there's no places to win for things. Yeah, I will. I'll tell if you've got 5 keys. I've got 10 of them. I think starts soon.
Price of fame, I can't get anywhere. Afternoon, gents.
Oh, I don't know. I'll give you a surprise.
I ride a low ride.
We won't go into that.
Great.
Clint's mum and dad live just over.
some 2,000 troops, basically 2 regiments. The fight started at 7 o'clock in the evening and ended at midnight at All Saints Church, where the Royalists were finally mopped up. It was a day, not exactly night today, in that it absolutely hammered it down. It chucked it down. From about 7 o'clock when the battle started, and around about the mid-1640s, had of course their people actually doing some war. There was very much actually, but this was almost totally solid from Parliament. That hasn't really changed for 340 years either, because most of today's men, although I'm going to say they're misguided, I've got to say that because my mother-in-law's on the Royalist side, you know, a family by the sword divided, unfortunately. So a big cheer for the Parliament troops. You cheated, you held your microphone out the window. Although I'm going to say they're misguided, there is a parliamentary course in the offing. Perhaps he's intelligent, but there is a parliamentary course in. Now what of course happens sometimes is that you got lost. There's a lot of smoke on these battlefields in the gunpowder. And if you found yourself in enemy ranks, it was very, very useful. You rip off your field sign and you're indistinguishable from your enemy. This changed towards the end of the Civil War, mind you, because the New Model Army, Cromwell's New Model Army, commanded by Lord Fairfax, actually all wore red coats. And of course the British Army continued wearing red coats until the Boer War in 1900. The reason they got red, by the way, is because red was quite simply the cheapest material they could get. Chris, I think you can hear something, can you not? Yes, certainly. Those of you who are facing the battle, you have a quick 180 degrees look at the front of the house, which sees all the Royalist forces beginning to move in. So obviously their intelligence has worked. A little pause here. Now, going back to the armories of the 17th century, the most obvious weapon that you'll see today is going to be the pike, because it's the biggest. It's a 16-foot lump of ash, which in the 17th century would have had a nice iron spike on top of it, and it will protect it for the 2 feet down the length of the pike by a sort of iron cladding. This is to stop swords from the cavalrymen lopping the tops off the pikes. The pike was very often called the queen of the field. You have to be very strong and athletic to deploy your pike effectively. I thought that meant you had to be a queen to carry it. No, that's a royalist. That's you getting confused. Going back to keep the grilling red end alight, this will be put into a lock called a serpent. And obviously by squeezing the trigger, the serpent drops the burning cord into the powder pan, and the musket goes bang, hopefully. To keep a co-resident of Herne Bay with myself, she's wandering around with a little pamphlet. It costs you 20 pence, specifically for children. It's called The Children's Story of the English Civil War. If you do get children, a co...
I suspect strongly you're going to break from Parliament line.
I see.
Very surprised if you wasn't gunned down.
Right. I wonder, could you, I forgot to stick a microphone in your face there. Could you tell us that again?
There's some dissent in the Horton ranks at the moment. I'm having trouble in holding my men in the position. They're disgruntled pikemen, and we're going to have to take some stern disciplinary measures.
Is it true their pay is 16 weeks in arrears?
No, that's an exaggeration. Maybe a week late, no more.
And where have your troops actually come from to be here today?
From Lancashire.
And they've come all the way from Lancashire to support the Royalists in the rising in Kent then?
They certainly have.
Now,
I suspect strongly you're going to break.
as I say, muskets were horrifically inaccurate. And I think they're really just firing away there just to impress each other. I don't think they're actually going to injure anybody.
They haven't all come out yet.
Now, one of the more obvious things you'll see today is the panoply of colours, the standards. You know yesterday that there was the trooping of the colour at Buckingham Palace, and that dates back to around about the 17th century, because the soldiers were mostly pressed into service. There were very, very few volunteers, and they had to know onto which colours to reform. So their colours, as I say, muskets were horrific, and they knew onto which colours they had to reform. That was trooping of the colour. Also today you'll see the colours being waved around very enthusiastically, and this is to incite the enemy into coming forward, because to lose your regiment's colours was the singular disgrace. There wasn't anything worse that you could do, and you could only restore your pride by taking the colours of an enemy regiment. Then they knew There's a very strange bunch down on the crest of the hill there. I don't know if you can see them. They've come an awful long way to be here.
Really can they?
They're wearing tartan. I know this bunch of chaps actually. They're dreadful people. Come an awful long way, as I say, and drink an awful lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your pleasure and entertainment today, Gustav the Dancing Bear. Unique opportunity to see this wonderful
Right, there's a slight technical adjustment to make there. Now, you can see here, on the parliamentarian side, now I'm commentating more or less to the parliamentarian side, and Chris is going to help out the royalists where possible. You can see oh dear me, what happened to that? The large yellow colour being brought up right in advance of the parliamentarian troops. I can't quite see, but I think the parliamentarian general, the Roundhead general, Dennis Ward, is there, and I would imagine what he's going to do is offer the royalists terms. I think that's what's going to happen, but it looks a little bit more violent than that. They're actually bringing troops up as well. As I said, warfare in the 17th century was conducted on rather gentlemanly terms, with the full acts of chivalry. If you thought you had the advantage, you went up and told the other side you had the advantage, you'd offer them terms. Today's terms might well be, look, you're going to lose, but you can march to your nearest friendly town with all your colours, and with all your arms, and with all your powder, and we won't touch you. However, if you don't accept our terms, then we will beat you, and we'll put all survivors to the sword. And obviously there is a certain amount of fear being struck into here. If you ignore the terms that are being offered, then obviously, I've just seen a good cavalry action there. Chris, comment, please.
Yeah, very nice one by the parliamentary cavalry there. The King's Life Guard of Foot won the Premier